Hello, and welcome to the Soulful Self-Development Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Hannah Sutherland. I'm a lover of all things self-care, personal development, and spirituality. I have created this podcast to help you grow into the most soulful version of yourself while creating more joy, magic, and purpose in your everyday life. If you're ready to live a life so full, then you, my friend, have come to the right place. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and now let's dive deep. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Self-Development Podcast. Today I am here with my big sister Jessica, and we are going to talk all about spirituality, Gemini season, and so much more. So Jess, say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm a mom of 3 and a wife to my husband Dustin. We live here in Lloydminster. I've lived here my whole life. I've just recently, in the last couple years, really been working on my spirituality, but I feel like this year has been the most I've worked on my journey, and now being in Gemini season, which is our season, it's my favorite, so yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I'd say this last year there's been a lot of magic within our family, and
definitely
just things coming together. And the start of this year we made vision boards. We went all out with these vision boards. And we've already seen a lot of it come into fruition. So tell us about a few things that you put on your vision board and what came true for you.
So I put a lot on my vision board, and actually going back looking at it, I feel that I put enough for 5 years on my vision board. That was like the first thing now. But I put a picture of a bedroom that I really liked because my husband and I have been talking about getting new furniture in our house and a new bed because we've had ours for like probably 10, 11 years. And just recently, I manifested gift cards for Home Depot, and we literally refurnished our whole house for free. So that was really cool to see that, and my bedroom now literally looks almost exactly like the picture I put on my board. So I was like, it was really cool. And just, more simple things that I put on there, like sometimes I do fall off the bandwagon, but being more in my yoga practice. And this year I really want to go to the lake and learn to just float in the water and just like embrace my femme energy. And I've been really working on that and like feeling that coming forward. And trying to think now what else I put on there. A piece of property that we want to buy, and like it kind of came up some more things to go along with it. So like seeing that kind of start to progress, and yeah, that's exciting. It's not. I love when the things manifest like that, and it's never how you think it's gonna be. Too, like, who thought that you're gonna just get all these gift cards to Home Depot to buy furniture? Yeah, like I didn't even know that Home Depot sold furniture, but we got these gift cards, and I was like, I wonder if maybe online they sell like beds and stuff. They just don't have them in store. And I looked. I'm like, oh my goodness, they do. So I was like, it was really exciting. I was like, I took a picture of it. I want to do a little like Instagram post of like my vision board, and then show it. Yeah. I love when people do that for like the end of the year. It'll be like my vision board. I know, and it'll be like my year. I know, and now I'm like super pumped to do my next year's one, even though it's a bit of time till then. But it's like now I'm like, we also wrote down like how we wanted our whole year to go. But I love how you have this like image in your mind, or this like picture of how it's gonna go, but the universe shows you how it needs to go. Yeah. And then once at the end of the year, you've still achieved all these things. It's just come in like different timing of when it's supposed to happen. And I'm excited to like reread how I wrote the year was going to go,
Yeah.
but how it went. And, like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree, too, because it's like you can't... I mean, it's a good practice to practice visualizing
Totally.
like, what you want and how you want it, but, you know, it's honestly more fun when the universe just, like, shows up and puts it in front of you.
Yeah.
The most crazy ways. You're like, what? No way.
Because I actually, which I know I've said this for years, that we want a new house, but I have little sticky notes all over my house that says I pay cash for our new house. And I did meditate on it, and I did get a really big sign from the universe saying, like, if you want that, you have to just wait a little bit longer. And so I was, like, putting off the furniture thing till we moved. And then I was like, it's just so interesting how the universe is like, no, this is how it's going to go first, but just be patient. Like, it's all going to happen.
Yeah. And just, like, believing that it's already done and that it's already yours and that you're worthy of it. That can be the hardest part and the biggest block for people is to get past that of, like, you know, there's no way that this is going to happen for me. It's like, well, yeah.
I know.
If that's your mindset, then you're right.
We were going to talk maybe about this later, too, but I wrote down what I wanted. Because I'm a stay-at-home mom, too. I'm actually also a student. I should have said that at the start. But... I wrote down what I wanted my husband's salary to be this year, and he was like, he's a bit of a skeptic sometimes, and he was like, there's no way, and he's literally on track to make that, if not more, and he's like, kind of like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I told you, I said, you're worthy of that, and you're worthy of more than that, and I literally almost tell him that every day. I'm like, you are worthy of this big salary. Because you're, like, the hardest worker I've ever met.
Yeah, he literally is. I don't know if that dude never sleeps.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's cool to see that all, like...
Yeah, come
teaching
together.
him, like, his worth, too. And, like, saying, like, we're both worthy of all these things. Because we're good people. And we have a beautiful family. And we try to give everything that we can. And, like...
Yeah, you guys are really good at that.
Yeah, like, my husband, he's such a donator. Like, at Christmas, I'll donate a whole vehicle full of stuff, and he'll tell me to go back and fill my car again. Like, he has such a big heart. He has a hard shell, but a big heart.
He's a Cancer. He's a Cancer, if you didn't pick up on that. But, yeah, honestly, though, the universe and Dustin is just kind of hilarious to watch because, like, even, like, a few years ago, like, I was... you know, in the beginning of my spiritual journey, and I swear every time I was around him, he'd just be rolling his eyes at me like, your sister's a nutball. And then now it's like, you know, it's spread to you and the girls, and now he just can't escape it. It's just kind of all around him.
We were saying, too, that someone at work, he was having a hard week, and one of his coworkers' daughters brought him a gift, and it was a bracelet with all the chakra crystals on it, and he brings it home, and I'm like, oh,
and he wears it all the time.
Yeah, and now he wears it all the time. He won't he won't admit that it might help.
Yeah.
But he wears it.
But his family, he comes from a pretty spiritual family too. Like, he's native, so they...
Yeah, and his mom and his grandma, they love a good psychic or a medium. And Dustin's grandma was here in the winter, and we had a moon ceremony, and she was so interested. She wanted us to do all her astrology, and she was loving it. She loves that kind of thing. So
she did. Yeah, we were talking about all of our signs and all the signs that we share with each other and how we see the similarities of, like, oh, these, you know, both you and Dustin's mom have Virgo, and you have that very organized sense about you, and you know, like, where you and I share Gemini, we both have Gemini sons, and we have that we're very funny and quick-witted, and we very much have that part of our
And we love to learn.
We love to learn. Yeah. We're always learning. I can't not be learning something, like, I know,
like that's why I'm sad to be finishing college, because I'm like, I like learning. I like meeting new people from, like, all over, and, like, learning in a community. It's so much fun. So I hope that another opportunity comes my way.
Well, that's the thing, though, is, like, you're always learning, even though you're not in school. I haven't been in university in, like, 3 years, but yet I'm still always learning, you know? Like, relearned dance. I learned how to DJ. I'm doing my yoga teacher training. And that,
I know. I've been thinking about... I'm studying appraisal, so I'm thinking about doing my real estate license just to have it together, like, when I'm done. And we've talked about maybe I should do my yoga thing, too.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really into the yoga teacher training because, I haven't even got to the part of the poses, and honestly, like, that's the least important part of what it's teaching you. It's teaching you all the ideology and where it comes from and how old it is and the traditions and, just, it's very fascinating. And it really goes hand in hand with the beliefs I had before, too, so it's kind of cool to see that, like, reinstated. It's very spiritual, and it's very much, like, and, like, everyone in their natural state is enlightened. We all become not enlightened because of the trauma and, the things that we go through and all these ideas we form in our head about how things should be or whatever. Then we
I read
lose
a book,
that
they
state.
call it rules.
Rules?
I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. Is this explicit?
Yes, you can swear.
It's bullshit rules. And it just talks about how literally everything is a rule.
Yeah.
Everything is like some silly thing that either society has made up or we've made up. And this guy, he went and stayed with tribes in Africa, and they don't even drink water.
Yeah.
They make this, like, it's almost like beer that they, like, ferment, and that's how they hydrate. So it's like, he's like, literally everything is a rule. So, like, if you find yourself blocked and you're like, why am I feeling so blocked? Or, like, and it's like, oh, because I'm following this ideology that's, like, kind of a silly rule that my parents passed down to me or whatever.
Yeah, it is. Everything, well, literally everything we have, somebody created. Even, like, when it comes to ideology and all this stuff, right? Like, it all had to come from somewhere. And I'm a big believer in, like, that we all have divinely inspired ideas. And, us humans alone can't really take that much credit for all these things that we make and develop. But also the things, like, even when it comes to, like, gender, like, what is male and female, because I'm really big into the masculine and feminine energy. And I used to kind of get a little bit confused because I'm mostly masculine energy within my astrology chart. I'm 68% air, which is masculine, and then my next highest element is fire. I only have, like, one water and one earth sign in my whole chart. But I am a girly girl. Like, I don't see myself as a masculine woman, but my energy is masculine. But because I'm not masculine in the way that society has labeled masculine as, like, big tough man, must work all the time, like, but I'm masculine and, I'm full of ideas, and I do like to work a lot, and I'm, but not in the same way. I'm not lifting heavy things and working on the rigs or whatever, but, and then feminine, like, I'm girly because I love dresses and I like to do my hair and makeup sometimes, and, that is, like, the our definition of feminine. But when it actually comes to being feminine and being in the state of flow and just allowing, and it's hard to just allow things when you have 1,000,000 ideas in your brain at all times, because you're like, ooh, but I want this to happen, and what it could go like that, or, like, what about like this, and it can be hard to just sit back and be like, okay, wait, I decided this is what I want, and I'm just gonna let it come to me. And so it's like, it's harder for me to tap into that, and that is something that I really need to work on now. I just had Reiki the other day, and that was, like, a big part of my message. Like, my masculine is exhausted, and I need to tap into my feminine.
That's always mine, too. Right after finals, I went to Reiki, and she's like, your masculine's very tired. I'm like, yes. Yes. My masculine is very tired.
Yes, it is. But also, I just feel like we live in a society where we almost feel like we have to be in our masculine, because think about all the things that we have to do in a day, just to get by, whether it be the 85 loads of laundry and the dishes and cleaning, like, you're always doing something, and then you got to go to work, and then you got to do this, and then you got to get groceries, and then, it can be hard to find the time just to sit in that state of flow and have the time to relax and just be and exist. And
I know, I felt that too. That's one thing I've been enjoying about spirituality is when I had my first daughter, I was quite young when I had her. I was 20, and I was like, our family was in a strange place and definitely wasn't practicing at that time. And now I have 3 kids, and having my son, when I was pregnant with him was kind of when I started on my spiritual journey. Like, I had read The Secret, and that's kind of like what kind of put me into motion. And I realized I'm like, wow, like we really don't value a lot of feminine things. Like I used to always say like I didn't like being pregnant, and we're always like just like wanting to rush through these things and like get to the next thing. And it's like now when I look back, I'm like, I loved being pregnant, even though I had a difficult pregnancy with my first daughter, and like I wish I would have just been more in flow and like cherish those moments. And like, you know, I actually really liked giving birth. I didn't struggle with that, and I wish I could like now. I mean, it's always when you look back, you're always like,
Quinn almost fell out.
I know, like, and like with Quinn, I felt like at that time I was like, I'm just gonna have 2. I just wanted to get being pregnant over with so I could move on. And I do feel like she took on some of that energy, and I do hold a bit of guilt that comes up lots in my Reiki as well. And I know I've given her a great life, so I shouldn't hold that myself to such a high standard all the time. But it's like when I look back, I'm like, wow, I wish I could have been in more of that flow state, that more feminine state when I was pregnant, because I didn't have to work either. I've stayed at home since I had my first daughter, and so I do feel as a society we don't. And actually somebody I met at school, he was from India. We became good friends, and he was saying, he's like, wow, it's so cool that you're a mom and you go to school and you're such a great mom. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like, you know, for some young kid to to say that to you is like, and I was like, oh, thanks. He's like, yeah, like, he's like, my family, like, when women have kids, it's like the highest honor, and we really worship them. You know, your body's creating life, and that's really cool. And I was like, yeah, it is. That is really cool that my body did that.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Yeah, I feel like there is a really big disconnect. I know that it really comes from, like, the feminine wounds that we, you know, get passed on from our ancestors and whatnot. And I feel like within our family, there hasn't even necessarily been that many, like, direct, but just, like, the whole, like, woman collective wound of, you know, just the amount of, like, trauma and abuse. And, you know, well, there was, like, I mean, back in the day, people had very traumatic births because they didn't have the resources and whatnot that we do now.
That was, like, a common way women died.
Yeah.
Most women died during childbirth.
And then even, you know, our sister Grace, like, she just had a baby a year ago, and she said the way that her experience went, like, that was a lot of trauma for her because that's not how she wanted to do it, kind of thing. And, you know, it sucks because it sucks
there's no happy medium, because it's like, I love that we like survive child labor now because of like modern medicine, but we have taken like all of the like
the naturalness, spiritual part of it like, away from it.
Yeah, this really like crazy moment that's not even crazy, just like magical moment that's happening in your life, and it's the magic's kind of gone because it's just like a lot going on. You're in a hospital, you know, you're down the hallway from, you know, just like
someone else that's
you know, there's screaming and there's chaos, and you know, it's,
I know when you had Quinn, it was crazy. I was there, I was in the room when she had Quinn, and the doctor broke your water at like 8 a.m. and you were like, don't leave, and he's like, no, I'm gonna go do my rounds. You're like, no, don't leave, and he didn't listen, and the nurse came back 20 minutes later to check her, not even, and Quinn was literally falling out. I was standing there like, do I catch her? Like, I like, do I gotta get in here and help? Like, there's no one around.
I remember after, I was like, Dustin, that was scary. Like, I thought she was gonna fall on the floor. He's like, I had it under control. Like, oh, did you?
Did you? You were not near there. You were by her head.
He's like, I knew.
It was me. I was like, like being a football captain. I'm like ready to catch her, come flying down the field here. The nurse checked, had one glove on. She's like, can I get some help in here? I'm like...
Yeah, and the one nurse that was in there with her, too, was a student. And this is, like, one of her first shifts. Like, but you know what? I guess I prepared her, I'm sure, for many... for what was about to come.
Everything's been easy since then.
She's like, okay. My first day was a little chaotic, but...
Yeah. But no, I think that as, like, us women, it's becoming more... you know, up in like in people's consciousness that we need to work on the feminine, and, you know, to be back in that flow and to heal these wounds that come along with womanhood and whatnot. And
Yeah, I too, because a friend of mine, she just had her third, and we did like a little gathering of her closest like friends that live here, and she kind of said, you know, oh, well, this is my third baby, like, you know, I didn't expect this kind of thing. And I'm like, well, I feel like it's kind of sad we only ever celebrate like the first baby, and like there's just so many things that we could celebrate. If
you know, even it doesn't have to be everyone bring presents and you end up with all this abundance of stuff that you don't need. Like, why can't it just be a gathering where we just come and celebrate you? Like, I don't need.
They said if you wanted to bring a small gift, I bought like a little outfit. Yeah, that's great. But we all put in like $20 to $40 for a gift for her.
Yeah, to go to the spa.
Yeah, so she can have a time for herself. Like, so.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I know. I think it's gonna make a big change here because we're all awakening to it, and I'm excited to see that because that's like something I've been working on.
I know. Now I can't wait for my girls, which is a long ways away, but like my girls, because I'm like, I just when they get married, I want to celebrate them, and like I want to celebrate when they have kids, and you know, we didn't celebrate as much when I had my kids. Like now, when I look back, I wish we would have done like more because it was exciting, but I'm also glad that I went through that because now I have this value of celebration of like those things. Yeah, I feel that. It's good to celebrate. My friends just threw me a surprise birthday party this weekend, and I guess it wasn't this weekend. My birthday was on Tuesday, but I was like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm 25. Like, I don't need to have a party. It's fine. Like, whatever. And then my friends decided, nope. So my one friend took me and we went on a little adventure, and she distracted me while everyone decorated our house and our garage. And then I know, but that's cute that happened because I know you've been wanting like a surprise party. I'm always someone that does that for other people, like not even necessarily a surprise. Well, I did one for Lucia a couple of years ago, but I just love decorating and like celebrating people's birthdays, and I love to, you know, I'll hang up all the streamers and balloons and whatever. I just like, it's nice to make people feel special. And I had a birthday 2 years ago that I like had this big vision of having this big party, and it just like nothing was going the way I wanted it to go. And then I got stuck in my head about that nobody wanted to be at my birthday, and then I was just being like, you know, and I was like, okay, I'm too old for this birthday thing, and I was like over it. And then the fact that my friends did that, I was like, oh my god, because I have a totally different friend group now than I did. Well, I kind of just started hanging out with them 2 years ago was when I just first started working at Maz, is like when I met them. And so now that they did that, and I just got like, you know, the presents they got me were all like so meaningful. And my one friend and his girlfriend got me this card, and it was the sweetest thing ever. Aww. It was just talking about how like being a person that like loves and that like you're so needed in the world. I was like, oh my god, I'm crying like a little baby. I know, on my birthday too, we were like having breakfast, and then you text me and Grace, and like everyone's wishing me happy birthday, and I was like started tearing up. I just felt so grateful. Like I went to the city. Edmonton's our closest city to us, and my mother-in-law lives downtown, so we dropped the kids off, and I got to spend a couple days with my husband. It was just like the best. It was like the dress I wanted online that sold out online. So good. It was in the store in the city. One left. I was like, it was meant to be. Yeah. Like, I love celebrating, like, you know, even if it's not a party, just and next year it's going to be a party because it's my 30th birthday, and it's the same weekend that I graduate. It's my graduation ceremony. Woo! The day before my 30th birthday, so it's gonna be we gotta do something crazy for that. It's gonna be. We gotta go on a trip or something. Nashville. We're talking about Nashville. Nashville? Because you like country music that much? I heard it's like. I heard it's pretty crazy. Shay said it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I heard it's like a funner Vegas. It's not like so much Sin City. But it's like you can kind of go and listen to music, and there's a lot to see. There's a lot of like cool things and like they kind of like a strip almost, right? Yeah. That's cool. So today is a new moon in Gemini, which is our season. And I've already felt really good being in Gemini season. I always feel like extra sunshiny when it's Gemini season. And now is the new moon, which
if you don't know, new moons are a time for planting seeds for manifestation. And it's really about new beginnings. And the energy of Gemini is very much about communication and ideas. And it's the twins. So the energy can be a lot, but it's just because it's like so much it could fill two people, you know? And if you've ever met a Gemini, you know that's true. So what did you do, or what are you going to do tonight for the new moon? Because we are big on our moon ceremonies.
Yes. So our other sister bought me an astrology journal. So I filled that part of it out. It's for the new moon in Gemini, and it asked me, it was cute. It was like, who's one person, if you could have a conversation with right now, who would it be and why? And I said, our nanny, of course. Because I miss her, and she was the best. And just asked, like, what language I would want to learn. And I'd love to learn Spanish.
Yeah, that's what I would have said too.
Just
Spanish is so hot.
I love traveling, and I find it's probably the language that I would use the most for the countries that I typically travel to. Yeah. And then I think tonight I'll go home and maybe meditate. But I have an overdue library book, and I can't renew it because somebody else has it on hold. So it's set in there to start a new book. So I'm going to try to like crush it out in a couple of days.
What book is it?
Atomic Habits.
That's a long book.
I know. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. It's only
should
like
get mine
5 cents a day for a late fee. So I could.
that poor person waiting for the book they're not getting.
I put all these books on hold at the
me.
library.
Yes.
I put all these books on hold at the library because there was a bunch that weren't available, and then they were like
all available at one time.
Yeah, and so I had like 5 books to read at one time, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not the best. Something I want to work on in myself is to be a better reader.
Yeah, me too.
But
I love reading, but I need to be better at it. It's something that I do. Like, I'll read before bed, but I'm such a, like, as soon as I could just lay down and fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow, so I only ever get like 5 pages of a book read before I fall asleep. And then sometimes I feel like I'm like falling asleep, and then the next day I have to go back and reread what I'm reading. So I want to make more time to read. But Auntie Diane got me this book for Christmas, and it's called The Untethered Soul, and it's so good.
Oh, okay.
I'm still only like...
Might have to put it on hold, so in a month from now.
You can read my copy when I'm done, if I ever get through it. But it's so good. It is really good.
What are you doing for the new moon?
I'm gonna do a big journal. I need to do a big thing. I do this thing called Dear Universe, and I just like write like a love thank you letter to the universe. And I'm overdue to do a big one, like just about my birthday and everything. I just feel like I haven't had a moment to sit down and just say thank you for everything. I mean, I've been like, I said my thank yous to all the people and everyone that sent me love and everything, but just like to send that extra gratitude to the universe. And like I do it in my head all the time, but I feel like it's just extra powerful when you can write it out. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to write down some things that I want to manifest. I had this vision when I did Reiki about she kind of not gave me shit, but like she was asked me if I was taking clients, and I said, not necessarily yet. And she was like, why not? And then I had this little, cry, because that's like something that I was holding on to. And I was just like really stuck in like not knowing how I wanted to do it. And I had a vision of how to do it. And so I'm going to write down some manifestations to do with that, and how, when I want to have it set up by, and, kind of my offers. And so I'm really excited because I had like a clear vision of me doing it, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I needed. So to do that, and, I like to, just write. And Gemini is big for communication.
And now,
so
like living in Canada, I'm really into, like, especially new and full moons, is like going outside and putting my feet in the grass and like looking up at the moon. And
well, there's no moon to look at.
I guess.
I was going to say that. I was like,
energy
being
outside.
under the moon. There's no moon.
There's no moon, but like just being outside
it's
and embracing that energy from the moon, and like putting your feet in the ground.
In the grass.
Feeling the grass, because it's been minus 50 for so long.
Well, we had a nice winter, but
we did, but still it's... The vitamin D
beneficial.
deficiency is real.
Yes, it is very real. And, even today, I worked at the greenhouse today and just I didn't have bare feet because it kind of hurts on the concrete.
It does hurt on the concrete,
and
I agree.
But just like playing with the plants all day, like moving plants around, hanging out with the plants, that's very grounding. But yeah, I love to, maybe I'll go do a little meditation, a layout in the grass.
Mm-hmm.
I did that the other day and fell asleep, and it was very nice. I had very deep,
I want to do that lots this summer with the kids too. My friend Ashley, she's also a teacher. She's like put together a little bit of a schedule of like how you should meditate like throughout, or like spiritual practices throughout the week, depending on the day.
Yeah,
and
cool.
She wants to like do it with her kids this summer. So I was like, I want to do that too, like more meditation and like what day, like certain days of the week you should be more slow, or some days you should, a work day, get things done, and then the next day have those rewards and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like I need that for myself because I would just be, it's nice to be like, no, today I'm going to relax.
Mm-hmm. And I find too with kids especially, you kind of have to like be like, okay, this is what we're doing today. Because otherwise it's just...
It can be chaotic. Yeah. But we did a couple of moon ceremonies at the beginning of the year. And then we got really busy, so we haven't really done or offered them for the last couple months, but we are thinking about starting it up again. And we did it over Zoom, so there can be an option to be in person if you want, which can be very powerful, but also over Zoom because we have friends and fans from far away that want to join. So yeah, if that's something that you guys are interested in, joining us for a moon ceremony, we just kind of chat, talk about the energy of the moon, set our intentions, and then we'll give like journal prompts so we can all journal,
and then
do
if
a
you
little
can
guided
come
meditation.
in person, sometimes we did some art for some of them.
Yeah, I did.
And yeah, like you say, just a meditation and
just being in a circle of like-minded, women that have, want the same things is really just powerful. And 13 is a magic number when it comes to the moon because there's 13 moon cycles within a year. So if we found a group of 13 women, 11 or 10 other if we include Grace, then and to be like in person would be really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking we should do one at the greenhouse.
Yeah. Well, and the studio too now is more open.
Yeah, true. We could do it at the studio.
But the greenhouse would be cool. Our mom's boyfriend owns a greenhouse, and it's a pretty special place for all of us. We're really grateful for it.
Yeah, we've all taken turns working there. You're working there this year.
Yes, I'm working there. It's my first job other than being a mom in like a decade. It's been nice, and my kids come with me, and they love it. They just like play in the dirt and run around, and they love meeting people.
Plant so many planters.
They pick a new flower to take home every day.
Yeah,
there's like a bunch of random stuff in the yard, but it's pretty cool experience. If you can get out to a greenhouse in the spring, you should go. It's just even to walk around. It's so magical.
So peaceful and magical, and I really like working there because you watch them grow. Like you plant them from seeds, and you get to watch them grow through all the phases.
I know, like my jalapenos have jalapenos on them, and I remember when we like started them out, and now they have like 5 full jalapenos on them. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, and like it just all that comes from a little seed and a little dirt and a little water, a little sunshine, and then all of a sudden it's like growing. And I know, and I feel lucky because I just get an abundance of flowers at my house too. I have a big flower bed in the front of my house that's full of flowers, and now every time I go out there, I plant more to bring home from my backyard.
I know, I was bad enough before, and now I'm just the flowers. But my husband absolutely like loves that. He loves the work I put into our yard. We had a dog. We used to have dogs. Had a dog run, got rid of it. And we argued if it should be a fire pit or a garden, and I just took over and made the garden without. And anyways, he's like, that was the best thing we ever did. Like, he's like, I love that I can just go out there and pluck an onion, or I can just go out there and the kids have a little strawberry patch. They just like eat from the strawberries, and they love it because the strawberries came from grandpa and grandma at the greenhouse, and it's so special.
Yeah, it is pretty special. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions before we wrap it up, and just to do with your spirituality. So first of all, what are some of the highs and lows of stepping into a spiritual path for you? Because if there's ups, there's going to be downs.
There's a couple things. So like, and this is for me in general, is my patience. Like when you're trying to, I'm also my human design. I'm a manifester. So like I can see how things are going to happen, and I like know how things are going to happen, but I want them to happen in a blink of an eye. And like we kind of talked earlier, that's just not how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But also, what is time? Time is an illusion. So like just embracing the journey that you're on. And another thing is like over talking about it. Like when I first got into it, I was just like, oh, this is cool and this is cool, and like over like, and I'm a Gemini, so I'm like, oh, like reading all these books and buying all these crystals, and like, and my husband was like, oh my goodness, like you, like what is going on? And then I find as you like get into your spirituality, you're just like, you just like stop, because you're like, it's for other people to like experience or to like take on if they want that journey. But I'm just grateful that I found that I've gotten on this path like in my 20s, not when I'm like 60.
Yeah.
You know? And so now I've realized like I don't have to talk about it. Or I can talk about it, but I don't need to like be like to my husband like, well, you should do this because mama, you know, I read this in a book, and he's like, okay, well, you know, like that's nice. But, and then, you know, like we say, then the universe has like brought certain things into his life to like open his eyes. Like I don't need to do that for him. The universe will do it for him in his own way. Yeah. What his experience needs to be. So those are some kind of like challenges, but I find as you get into it, you start to just, you have the yin and the yang, and you flow and you go, and it becomes easier.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I obviously still talk about it a lot, considering I have a podcast, so you can't make me shut up about it.
I guess I shouldn't say talking about it or being preachy.
But like that's
the preachiness of it.
It is, and you can't like. That's one of my biggest things. I mean, I'm a projector in human design, so like my energy is already a lot for people, because I'm like, it's like essentially cone shaped, so it's like I can see right through them, and it bothers people. But I have to talk about what I love, and the people that want to listen will listen. That's been my biggest lesson. It's like, you know, if you're talking about it and someone's giving you this look like you are fucking crazy, then just know like, you know, they're not on that part of their journey yet, and that's okay, and, you know, that's meant for them, and, you know, I'm going to talk about it on my podcast because the people that want to listen will listen, and, you know, I already have so many followers that, you know, enjoy it.
And like we say, we're talking about the vision boards, it's like, these things are already, like, coming into my life, and so quickly, that now it's like, I've already proven myself. Like I don't need to like bring it up to other people to like prove it. Like,
I know
it's real.
You could tell me I'm wrong till you're blue in the face, and I'm not gonna listen to you. There's enough proof within my life, and my ex-boyfriend was bad for that. He'd be like, "How do you know? There's no proof. There's no science." And I'd be like, I've done enough science experiments in my own life. There's lots of science.
Yeah.
Like,
There's lots of laws that go with spirituality that are literally science.
Universal laws. It's literally, you can't argue it. It's literally the law of these. It's like the same as gravity. Yeah. Okay, what are some of your favorite spiritual practices?
Ooh. This is interesting. Well, I definitely love yoga. I actually wrote about that in my astrology journal. I like the connection it brings to my mind, body, and soul. Yeah. I do like that I've implemented more like barefoot in like the grass, like dirt, your hands touching the earth. Like we went to the mountains this winter. And I was, like, making my kids, like, hug the trees. And, like, it seems kind of silly, but it's just, like, those little things that, like, bring so much joy to your life. Yeah. You know? And, like, definitely meditating, I fall off the bandwagon all the time. But, like, when I do it, I really obviously love it.
Yeah. It's like meditation.
I'm just like such a wind
I know.
symbol. It's so hard for me to just like sit there.
And I know, but that's the thing about meditation too, is I feel like I'm hard on myself for that. Sometimes I was like, oh, I didn't meditate. But like there's so many ways to meditate that like I guarantee you meditate once a day.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be, you know, journaling and just focusing on that, or, you know, when you're working at the greenhouse and you're just admiring all the flowers, you know, and your mind's not wandering at those moments, like that is still meditation.
Or sometimes I'll be like, take some deep breaths. Are you clenching your jaw? Are you clenching your jaw? Release.
I'm bad for that one.
Like, okay, take some deep breaths.
Yeah.
It's all good. It feels good.
You know,
to just
I try to always, like, when I go to bed, like, you know, meditate at like, you know, even if it's for 2 seconds as I'm falling asleep, and just like being like, okay, how do I feel? You know, like, how's my energy?
I say my little mantras.
Yeah.
I am a millionaire. I am worthy. I am love.
I'm
worthy of love.
There's so many ways.
So many.
And for us, anyone who's a fellow Gemini or just air signs, because our minds just move at 1,000,000 miles a minute, I find it, you know, some of the best ways for me to meditate is art, painting, dancing, drawing.
Yes, I had
anything like that, because it's, you know, you're focusing on that, and it's easier for your mind to not wander than if you're just like sitting there breathing and trying not to think, because my mind will be like, blah, 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 and I'm like, nope, not right now. And then it'll be like 3, 2, 1, blah, 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 and I'm like, fuck me.
Yes, I had a one-on-one coach with she's a I don't know what she would call herself, but she's like a manifesting coach.
Yeah.
And she said that she was like, you need to just pick a goal, plant your feet in the sand, like in the soil, and just like have one goal. Because like talking about my vision board, I'm like, when I looked at it after this thing, I'm like, yeah, I did put a lot of things. Like, this is a lot.
I know,
in
look at
1
mine.
year. Like, which is good, but it's like, okay.
Mine isn't all just for 1 year. Like, there's things on my vision board.
I agree,
This is like me speaking in front of a crowd, and I know that's not in a
like,
1 year goal, but I know that I'm going to do it one year.
Like, I put the picture of the cabin we want on it, because we have some land to build on at a lake, but I'm like, I'm not really in a rush to get it. Like, I know it's coming.
Yeah, and that's the one you want.
And that's just the design I want. That's the color I want. I'm just envisioning myself having my coffee on the deck, looking at the lake. I want to swing like our grandma had on the deck.
I sat on one at the store the other day.
I know.
I forget where it was. Walmart.
I saw the same with the kids, and I was like swinging, and Dustin's like, "We gotta go." I'm like,
"You're like, no, one moment, hanging out with Nanny. Leave me alone." Yeah. Okay.
What is yours? What is your favorite spiritual or what was it? Practice.
My favorite. I'd say meditation. I'd say just like, honestly, just like learning to connect with my energy, like different practices, whether it be like breath work or like yoga, things that it's just like I really feel myself, because I really, before I got into this, struggled with, you know, like having other people's energy attached to me. So I've become, I don't want to say like addicted in like an unhealthy way, but like it's just something that I have to do every day for myself, is like feel my own energy, because when I take the time to feel my own energy, it becomes easy to recognize like if I actually, you know, have an emotion that's uncomfortable that I need to deal with, or if I picked up on it from somebody that, you know, I interacted with throughout the day. So I'd say that's my favorite, but definitely putting my feet in the ground, or just being out in nature, like going for a barefoot walk, hugging the trees.
Just like
hugging the trees, it also benefits the trees. It's like a symbiotic relationship, because I don't know what exactly it is.
I was telling my kids about that. I was like, you know, the trees, they like talk to each other through like their root system, and like when you say good morning to your plants, like they respond to that. Absolutely. And they're like, alive. Seriously, Mom? I'm like, I'm serious. Look it up.
It is. It's real. I know. That's one of my favorite things in my morning routine. It's like, you know, I get up and, you know, I wake up, I'll meditate, and then I'll go around my house to all my 37 plants.
I know, so it's like, Mom, when are you going to stop buying plants? Never. And so just don't
my roommate's like, our house is starting to look like a jungle. I was like, no, I'm not. Until it actually looks like a jungle, I'm not quitting getting
Until I'm
plants.
So stressed out because I'm watering for 6 hours a day.
That's like our, no wonder, this is where I get from our mom. Like, we grew up on an acreage, and I just remember being so annoyed being 17 and mom leaving for the weekend and giving me instructions to water all these plants. It would take me an hour to water all her plants, and they were outside spread out throughout the yard and stuff. It was more like her, not just her indoor plants, but she'd be like, this one likes lots of water, this one likes a little bit of water, and I'm like, Mom, shut up, I'm just gonna water them. If they die, they die.
And you're like, oh my god,
and
I'm
now,
my mother.
Yeah, now I'm gonna be like, okay, sweetie, listen, this one gets 3/4 a cup of water at 9 a.m.
Dustin, I'm like, so when I go to BC to visit our dad, I'm like, I'm going to just leave you a note. It might be a little long about how to water the plants while I'm gone. He's like, seriously? Like, yeah.
Yes, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. I killed a fern in my bathroom, but it was a little too... It gets steamy in there, so it was too much water for it. But I got a new one, thanks, courtesy of the greenhouse. So...
Shout out to Kathy's Greenhouse.
Shout out to Kathy's Greenhouse. If you live around Lloyd, please go check out Kathy's Greenhouse. They're open till the end of June, and it is worth it. They have we still have so much stuff left, and it's all so beautiful. Like, everything's growing so nice. And
it's grown with so much love.
So much love. Comes from our family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love my plants. I'd say that's probably, I don't know, I have too many.
I know.
I love journaling, too. It's good.
I do love journaling, too. I do, but I find... I'm bad for not... I keep saying, I don't make the time for this. I know I have 3 young kids, and we're very busy. So I know this part of my life, it's like... I seen a post. It's like, I'm in my busy or arena mom era or whatever it is. So I'm trying to embrace that, but also still implement spiritual practice. It's
okay though, like for journaling too, like when I used to journal every single day, like it was like I couldn't skip a day without journaling, but then I got to a point where I was like, I don't feel like I need to journal every day, and if there is something that's coming up for me and I'm like, I will journal. And, you know, or every once in a while, I'll do, like, a really big journal versus just doing, like, little, you know, entries every day. So, yeah, it's one of those things that it's, like, you know, you can use it when you feel like you need it and don't feel like you actually have to do it every single day if it's not something you feel called to do. Like,
I have my special little Kia, is that what it's called? Like, a little desk in the library.
Yeah.
And I used to always, like, go there and journal before class because my kids were at daycare or school. I took the time for myself, like, and I did it, but now that I'm on break, I'm like, I need to find, like, a little spot and a little time to, like, put that habit back into
you need a little desk somewhere.
I know, now that we got a new table as well, so we're going to get a little desk for the basement, I think.
Yeah.
Just have my own little spot.
You got more gift cards left?
We do.
Oh, there you go.
But we're thinking about getting a new fridge.
Oh, shit.
Because our fridge is...
The door has been... Oh, no, Dad fixed the door.
Dad fixed the door, but Quinn uses the door to climb.
Oh.
And she ripped, like, where the condiments go.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just waiting for one to, like, fall on the floor and explode. One time Maple Syrup did that, and it was like...
Oh. So Donnie loved that.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question before we wrap it up. Where are you hoping to go within your spiritual journey? Like, what's maybe a goal you have related to your spirituality?
I don't know. I feel like part of my spiritual journey is I want to be a really great mom. I know it's impossible to be a perfect mom because it's like there's just so much, but I just want to be a really good, like, support system for my kids and be really grounded and really, like, just, like, self-aware so I can help them with things in their life. And I just want to live, like, one of my best lives. And, like, I'm figuring this out at a fairly young age, so I really want to, like, look back and be, like, teach my kids. I actually read this thing where this rich man, in his house, to get an allowance, it's, like, they have to read books. And I really want to, like, do something like that with my kids and, like,
that's cool. Teach
them, like, reading these, like, books about good habits and, like, spiritual practice and just, like, being grounded and, like, help them, like, give them the best guidance I can to, like, have the best life, because, like, they really are we're all so lucky. I have such a beautiful family.
They're pretty special, those kids.
Yeah.
If you don't remember my bonus episode with Quinn, go back and check that out. That would be the middle child. She's extra special, that one.
She is, yeah. Yeah, she's definitely taught me a few things in this life.
She's taught me a few things, too.
Yeah.
And she really loves nature and bees.
She does, yeah.
She's pretty cool.
She's pretty special.
I think that's a really good spiritual journey, and that's like realistic, because I think it's good for people to know that, like, you know, a spiritual goal doesn't have to be like to be able to meditate 1 hour, you know, or to be able to, you know, have these psychic abilities or whatever it is, you know, because there can be endless opportunities. But, you know, just being a good mom and being grounded for your kids, like, that is so important. And, you know, because it's just going to create a ripple effect, because they're going to grow up with these healthy habits and then think about when they're, you know, when they're parents and they have kids, and, you know, and...
Yeah, and I just want to, like, heal some of my trauma so that I can teach them, like...
Yeah, and not pass it on.
Yeah, like, we all go through things. We all have these traumas, but it's like, how do we work through them together? Like, how do we create this, like, beautiful family tree that's, like, flourishing?
Yeah.
You know, with strong roots and...
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's important. I struggled with my roots for a long time. Now I feel like I don't. I definitely feel like that. I feel very, like, secure.
Actually,
in
our
family.
Reiki, that's what she said my soul, like, mission is. We all have, like, a soul's purpose when we come. And she says mine is, like, the feeling of belonging.
Yeah.
And I've struggled with that. Like, we grew up in a small town, and when I look back, I'm like, I feel so grateful for all, like, a lot of the people I went to school with, and, like, the friendships I've made and everything. But I just, like, when I was in it, I was, like, hurting, and I was not, like, grateful. I wasn't, like, living in the moment, and I was, like, I didn't feel like I belonged. But when I look back, I'm like, I don't know why I felt that way. I felt that way about kind of our family. We had some stuff go on for years, and I didn't feel like I belonged in our family, but now I do. I really feel like I belong, and just, like...
Yeah, that's a big one, but it also comes from... It's really common for people whose souls have lived lives, like, not here. Or, you know, like, you almost feel like, you know, there's, like, this place where we all go when we die, and it's, like... I struggle because I know that as home. You know, and, like, it can be hard to feel like home here, or, like, that you belong here, because, you know, you see all the chaos and all the hurt and all the stuff around you, and you're like, that. It's not, I don't belong here. Yeah. But, you know, and it can be, you know, depending on where your past lives come from. Maybe, you know, your last few past lives, it wasn't on Earth, maybe it was a different planet. So it's like, it can feel extra hard to belong here because you're not used to all these, you know, souls and beings around you.
As Quinn would say, being a human is hard.
being a human is hard. It's not easy.
Says, she's lived many lives, I'm sure, in many places, because she always says that she has the same numerology number as me, 11. Oh, right. That's right.
Which is like, that's a master number. So you've gone through them. You've gone through them all.
Yeah, and you can tell I always think she came for Dust and I to teach us a lot of things, and I don't know if she necessarily wanted to come, but she came.
Hey, she signed up. She
signed up.
She chose this life.
But she sometimes is like, she'll, like, do this thing, and she's like, being a human. I'm like, why do you call yourself a human? Like, it's... I'm like, yeah, you know, Quinn, you're right. Being a human does...
suck.
Sometimes, yeah.
It does.
But it's beautiful. It's magical.
It is beautiful. And it's, you know, we choose to come here for a reason, because there's things that we need to learn and to help us grow and expand. And, you know, I know a big part of my mission is to teach and to help, you know, to help people learn and grow. And I get really stuck all the time thinking that I'm like, something needs to happen to make a change in this world, because, you know, there's a lot of chaos going on, and it can be hard to handle seeing that all the time. And then, you know, I just remind myself of, like, how much I actually do to make a difference in this world. You know, like, even seeing you come so far in your spiritual journey, and, you know, my friends, like, you know, saying, oh my God, Hannah, look, I manifested that. And, you know, just, like, all this little stuff, and it's like, wow, you know.
Or just, like, I just find, like, when I walk downtown, I smile at people, or
Yeah.
like just saying like, I
love
hope you have the
smiling at
best
people.
day.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or I really appreciated you for that, or just like, you know, just the little
and
things.
it just passes it on. And like that's really all you can do, because I mean, if there was something big dramatic I could do, trust me, I would do it. But for now, it's like, being kind and telling the people you love that you love them, and being there for people that need you, and
Yeah.
inspiring the little ones, not letting the magic die, like going fairy hunting.
Yes. Aww.
Yeah.
I love
Okay,
that.
well, we should wrap it up because we're almost at an hour.
Well, thanks
so.
for having me.
Yes, thank you for being on the pod. I'm glad you finally got to come on just in time for
too.
our birthdays. Well, our birthdays just passed this last week, so happy Gemini season, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Thank you so much for tuning in today and making Soulful Self-Development possible. I am grateful for each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the show today, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Stay tuned for new episodes coming out every Wednesday. You can connect with me on social media at soulful.self.development. I would absolutely love to hear from you. You guys make my heart so full. See you next time.